We're going to cross to a small town not far from Aleppo, Aleppo, to join Father Tony O'Riordan, who works with the Jesuit Relief Service. Thank you so much for joining us here on BBC News. Just tell us, Father, what you are seeing in the area where you are and where we understand you've set up a clinic.
Good evening to you. So Al Kafroun and Mishtal Hillock are two clusters of villages about an hour outside of Homs, and was an epicenter of safety during the conflict where many people fled Homs and Aleppo. So in the aftermath of the earthquake, many families have started to come here seeking safety and shelter. And again, it's just stories of devastation and loss, and people struggling under the weight and the rubble of their lives, the weight and the concrete of heavy emotion and heavy fear that seems to have gripped not only Aleppo, where most of them from, but right across Syria. I think the nation is gripped by a trauma and a fear that needs to be part of the response as we try and pull the spirit and the life back into people and lift this heavy weight from them by material response, but also by a psychosocial response that helps them lift some of this weight that they feel at the moment, grief and sadness. And I've seen it today with the children that we've been working with. We're in groups of 10 or 12. There was at least one or two children in every group who had lost not one, not two, but maybe three members of their family. And it was a privilege to be involved in such work and to see the children release some of this sadness and then be able to play. We have helped maybe 700 children so far, but it's such the scale of the tragedy. There are millions that need to be helped in this way.
Indeed, and as you know so well, Father, this is an area which was already in the grip of a dire humanitarian crisis. Are there many areas, many places such as yours that Syrians can turn to for the kind of assistance they now need even more urgently than ever?
We have been operating support to the people of Aleppo for the last 11 years by offering access to primary health care, particularly for women and for children, and also safe shelters and safe spaces for children, especially vulnerable children. So our priority has been to look after our team of volunteers in the first instance and enable them to reopen the services. And this is maybe one of the parts of the story of this disaster that will be told to the response of Syrians. The first responders to the suffering in Syria has been Syrians, and it's been amazing to see how Syrians have opened these services that we run, and they have been working nearly 24 hours a day to give people access to medical care, to give children access to safe spaces, and to begin the distribution of food and blankets and beginning to accompany them to understand their stories and where they might see the next steps of putting their lives back together.
And Father, do you hear that many Syrians feel angry and abandoned by the world?
I think this might be actually changing. A week before the earthquake, I had been talking to some of my colleagues, and they were describing the situation in Aleppo and surrounding areas as hell. And I guess after the earthquake, we have descended into a deeper level of hell. But I think, as Martin Griffin said, the world forgot Syria. Perhaps one of the good things that might emerge from this is that the world might look again at the situation of Syria and support Syrians to restore their country to stand on their own feet again. But they've been living under crippling poverty and have been forgotten. I think there's a glimpse of hope among a lot of Syrians that maybe maybe this is a time for Syria to come together internally, but also it needs the support of the outside world, and also perhaps a reframing of the politics and the diplomacy that has not led to any progress over the last 10 years.